So, what we are going to see is what we are doing in a day to day life browsing. Most of the time, we have our web in hand, and especially this pandemic situation, most of the time we are sitting browsing and we try to either take contents for a class or we want to have some entertainment, and somewhere or the other we have some games, online games. That's what we tend to have this time allotted, how we use our time. So internet actually is full of information. Everyone will read topics or play games, or according to their information, according to their interest, they gain the information. It is connected with millions of devices, and we share the information all over the world. When I say World Wide Web, we always think it as one single thing, but most of us we don't know that it actually contains three categories. What we see on top will be the surface web, that is for all our interest and purposes, the internet we all know, and what we love to surf, and how we run our businesses, connect to our friends. This is the topmost surface web where we will be seeing all these things. But outside the surface web, there are still within the World Wide Web, there hides a deep web and a dark web. So when I say deep web, it is not very dangerous, but those which are uh, not accessible directly, but it is like an index site. You have to have some access rights to get into those things. So academic databases, as you know, like Elsevier or like any other academic databases, you have to have some access right to uh, get into those records. And underneath that is what we call as a dark web. Though the name is dark web, actually it was designated for protecting our data. But your data is leaked in a data breach, then this is where they will put it up for sale. So like, it has its own disadvantages also. Actually it was created on idea of protecting the privacy, but criminals often take advantage of it. Okay. Hope I am clear till here. Yes, shall I proceed?
Yes, Charlotte, I think it's clear.
Okay, ma'am, thank you. Okay. So what we see as a surface web is only 4%. The rest of 96% is the deep web and the dark web. So you can understand the reach of internet here. Now coming to the data stack. So what is a data? There are different ways we provide data to through internet to others. So data is what we generally term as what we identify a person. What will identify a person? Even without a name, I can extract information about a person. Say with an gender, age, and salary combined together, I can derive a lot of information about that person. So it's not only that it is compulsory that I should know the name and all the details. Even with one single data, I will be able to derive it. And most of us will be using your IoT devices, like you connect to your exercise bands or your computers or to your fridge or thermostats, and everything gets operated using this IoT nowadays. And with so many devices, the data being stored has been grown 44 times from 2009. So 2009 it was very less. It has grown to a huge extreme of 44 times in 2020. And this is the darker danger that we have to take care of. And it is the darker danger for the users than for targeted advertisers. When I say open data, when I say that is what we voluntarily share, like when government comes and asks for some personal information, like what is your Aadhaar number or your number of persons living in the house, their names, age, we voluntarily give. That is the census data, what is called as open data. And processed algorithmic data is based on the loans you have taken or the bank accounts you have. They can come to a conclusion of what will be your credit score. And the next one is shared data, what you share using your smart home devices, is through mobiles or through other devices, IoT devices, and then the personal data. But if you see, there are certain other data like observed data. like your socio-economic status, where you live. All these can be identified based on the consumer behavior. They will take it. And inferred data is the practical value which they take. Say, for example, uh, if your sister um, has recently given birth to a baby, and obviously you will try to do a research and get some baby products for the baby. So the next day onwards, your social media web sites will be filled with all the advertisements with regard to this baby products, pushing you to buy, targeting. They think that something you will take into uh, your basket at the end of the day. So using these first two types, that is volunteer data and observed data, they can work out what is your gender, what is your age, what is your interest, what is your employment status, what your hobbies are. So using this information, they create the targeted audience. So they will start offering you goods and service that will fit your box, and they are targeting you. Many of the consumers, they want to actually come out of this data mining and targeted marketing, but we don't know how to come out. Actually, that is the reason. Most of the time, we voluntarily give all the data. So that's what they have now come to say, that data is king, and the one who masters data with science will rule the world. And it has become a new asset class, and it is the most valuable resource on the planet. So we will see how this personal data is being used by companies, and what is a data theft. So when I say personal data, it can be your name, address, your locality, your online presence, in which all social media sites you are available, what all interest you have, your cultural profile, your income, your health information. All these things will be uh, deemed as a personal data. So how this personal data is collected and shared? This is say, for example, most of the time it is like uh, usually we will have some tele callers asking us whether do you want a credit card, or do you have. Most of the time we will say, like for example, somebody from Eureka Forbes calling and asking you whether you want to purchase some product. You will either say I have it, and you give out an information that you have already a customer of them, or else you say you don't have it, and then also you give them information that you are next target for them to keep on pestering you to buy the product. Okay, so either way we are giving them all these things. And when we go to shop and use a contactless card for groceries, or shops to collect, or other materials, we use personal data. They collect the personal data, like card numbers, how much we spent, and what all we bought, and how we process the payment. So all these information, actually they are turning out to be a wealth for somebody. Okay. And there are companies which use this personal data actually to provide an effective and efficient service. But we have to say that they not only use it for their own thing, but they also share it. Though some companies don't sell the data, even PayPal had shared its details recently. And coming to the data theft, so when I say, does data belong to me? When I say my name, does it belong to me? When I say a DNA, does it belong to me? Actually, even a DNA can give an information about your parents and your family. So it's only not a detail about you that you are revealing. You are revealing a detail about your family. And when I say utility bills, it also reveals how many persons are living with us. And health records, it contains about the information about the medical professionals whom we are meeting with. So if I say this is my medical report, it doesn't have a detail about you alone. It gives a detail about your medical professional, as well as his location, every other detail which will be benefited for some other person. Okay. And what companies collect and what they know. Every time you interact with a company, the company is actually recording the information. So it will have some business purpose. It brings them benefits. It's only for the benefit they are doing it. Say, for example, you are a pet owner and you search for a cat food. Immediately, you will receive messages saying that you have offers or discount coupons for cat food. They also improve the product design and performance based on your interest. And also, like smartphone companies, monitor how your devices are working uh, on an ongoing basis to improve upon the battery life, or like they collect data for say car owners, they collect car companies, they collect the data to improve the fuel economy. All these things are taken sometimes primarily only for an effective usage back to the customers, but these information, when it goes in the hand of other persons, like who make money out of it, it becomes a darker web. Okay, many companies, they don't sell their data, but they do share your data for accessing with others. And how are you tracked? So the most commonest way of tracking is the placement of cookies. Like in web services, when I click on, say for example, Facebook, I enter into Facebook and there is a like button. So when
Charulata, your voice is breaking, Charulata.
now is it
Char-
audible? Yes, ma'am. Now is it audible, ma'am?
Charulata, your voice is breaking.
Now is it okay, ma'am?
Yes, yes. Now it's
Now is
okay.
it? Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry for that. So from where shall I continue? Shall I continue, ma'am?
Yes, yes. You can continue.
Okay. So how your data is being tracked? The most common way of tracking is placement of cookies. This cookies is nothing but a small file which will be transmitted from your browser to the server. So when you have entering into Facebook and you have a like button on it. So obviously when we like a particular uh, information, we tend to click on it. When once we click on it, automatically Facebook will learn that you are visiting
Again, you
Facebook will learn that you are liking or visiting this blog, but this mechanism with larger social networks will have how many times you are interested in visiting other blogs, all these details, how many times you are active in Facebook on a day, and what all details you transfer, all these will be sold against you for better ads. Okay. And many of us think that when we open in incognito mode, there is an incognito mode where we say that the browser doesn't hold the history at all. So that it will automatically delete the cookies and it cannot be tracked. But there are algorithms which will look for other signals. Say, for example, it will track the resolution of your computer screen, the size of the browser, how your mouse move around. All these informations are tracked. So it is very unique when you keep browsing certain things and you mouse movements also. It is like a fingerprint of who you are. So this is known as device fingerprinting. So that's a very large topic when we talk about device fingerprinting, when we enter into an incognito mode. Most of us, we have this myth that when I enter into incognito mode, nothing gets saved in the history, but there are other details which is valid, like your fingerprint will be taken up. And also, when we share messages to WhatsApp, you would have noticed that it has got end-to-end encryption. End-to-end encryption means that only the sender and receiver can see or hear the content. But there will be some metadata, small information, which will be revealing the major information about you, which when hacked will be a main source of information to others to know that what has happened or what is going on with you. Suppose I'm calling up a doctor, then one could infer that you have such, one could infer that you or somebody related to you have that particular disease. So if I'm calling up a diabetic doctor or an oncologist, then somebody could infer that I might have, or somebody near me would have cancer or something. Okay, so these are the informations which we, without noticing, we are transferring it to others. And there are 4 factors in which we are getting distracted with the corporate strategies. First is placation. When I say it is like whenever you know you had seen an ad, there will be a word. Your trust is very important to us. Then we aim to be very clear and transparent about why we collect our data. But if you notice, if you read their policy, you will find all the invasive practices and third party cookies which will collect the data and they will sell it or use it for uh, targeting you with many such ads. The second one is diversion. That is, diversion is whenever you would have noticed, even in a cigarette packet or in a liquor bottle, there will be a uh, wording like it is not good for health, but that will be put as a very short one, very small letters. Similarly, the privacy policies of all the companies are placed right underneath the website, the last line of your web page, where on top you will have all the colorful images which will attract you to buy their products. And the third tactic, what they use is misnaming. Actually, privacy policy, we always think it's the privacy policy of the company and we don't even read it. We just like that go, click on I agree, accept or something and proceed. But this one actually should have been named as, ma'am, is my voice not clear?
Yes, Charlata, your voice is breaking, and again, no, just mute all the participants, and your voice is breaking.
Oh, 1 second, ma'am.
First, all the participants to mute your audio, please. Actually, the host is muting the audio. I mean, muting the audio, but still you're unmuting and they're talking. We request you all to mute your audio because even in the recording, this disturbance comes in and the recording is not clear also.
Ma'am, I'm trying to mute them all, but still they are.
You just know, yes, that's what.
So, yes. So let me again proceed with 4 tactics. The first one is placation. When I say that, most of the companies, they give a statement like your trust is important and we are transparent about how we collect the information, and they reinforce the statement on their websites by one person standing with a smiling face and in repeating the data privacy is important. So obviously we get assured with that and we tend to over overread what they had given in their privacy policies. And the second one is diversion. When I say diversion, the policy is always placed towards the end of your web page where you have to come across all the food products or all the consumer durables, and automatically you will get distracted. You are forced to buy their products. And the third one is misnaming. The most of the time we think that the privacy policy name means it's the privacy policy of the company. We don't even read it. Actually, it should be named as what we do with your information. That should be the name given for any privacy policy. Then at least we will sit, read what it is given, and agree or disagree with them. And the fourth one is using jargons. Most of the companies' policies are language specific to an industry where a layman cannot understand these sentences, and obviously, we don't take time to read these jargons and understand it. So, how much is your personal data actually worth? So, if you notice, it is a $300 billion billion a year industry. In USA alone, there are 3 million people working for collecting the data. And there is another one concept that is rising now, that is click farm. So if I talk about click farm, it is a room where you will have shelves containing thousands of cell phones, where every worker is paid only to imitate real internet users and by clicking on promoted links. So if I'm starting up a company and I want immediately to have to show that I have 2000 or 3000 likes or 3000 subscribers, I have to only pay to this company. This company will employ some persons to only keep on clicking the like button and producing the personal data. So this way they are earning a much. So when we talk about what will be the future of data collection, so now with computers and smartphones, already we are giving all our information. And with the introduction of this wearable health devices or sensor embedded clothing, again, we are sharing our data. And it is not only that, even if you think that I don't use any of these devices, I am not in any of the social media, so nothing will get to, none of my data will get transmitted. There are surveillance cameras installed in your street corners. So those are facial recognition enabled. So those data will also be used. So the face data will be collected there. So you cannot escape of data collection, but you have to be very safe when you are giving your data. And there is also a new wave of companies that is peddling now. That is, users should own their own data and get the value from it or get monetary benefit from it. So even if you want to sell your own data, you can sell it. There are apps and sites for that where they offer cryptocurrency tokens in exchange for information like your bank transactions, your medical history, or your fluctuations in your smart thermostats. All these informations are also can be turned into a cryptocurrency. So that will be the future one in data collection. So how do you protect your personal data? So before you give your personal data, you will be you have to make sure who you are giving. Okay, whether you're going to give your own data or you're going to give for what purpose, and who is accountable.
Charlata, yeah, voice.
Ma'am, my audio is proper. I don't understand why it's.
Yeah, it's now it's fine. It was breaking earlier.
Okay, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
You please continue.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, participants, about that. Okay. So here we have to understand how we to protect your personal data. So to who is accountable for the data and to whom you are submitting the data and what is the data being requested. Say for example, many a times you would have received a form where you will be asked to enter your first name, last name, email, phone numbers, or your address, but most of the time we wouldn't have noticed whether it is mandatory or not. We give extra information, those are optional also. So make sure you give only mandatory information and also see that whether those mandatory information are really required. Say when you are giving your email ID, do you require to give your phone number when you are registering for somewhere, some conferences or some websites, it asks for phone number as well. So why they need this data? So the purpose you should understand. So you will have all the right to understand and ask questions before providing the data, and also make sure how the data is being processed. Okay, and how long the data will be with them, whether they will use it, whether they will retain it throughout or only for a time period. So all these information you will have the right to ask them. And coming to the next one is the most secure media platforms today. We will have the Telegram, the first, because Telegram doesn't retain anything on your phone. So whatever you share in Telegram, it will not be retained in your phone, and that's the safest one as of now. And next comes WhatsApp, and Reddit and Twitter are microblogging sites. And then comes YouTube, and then Instagram, and you have Facebook and Skype as well. And so whenever you are browsing, ensure that you are safely browsing without leaking your data.